Okay, welcome to my channel. I'm Christina, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 9 things you can kind of tell yourself to push through and to motivate yourself to still get things done, even when you're just dead tired, when you're just plumb exhausted, and at the end of the night, you just don't think you just have no more energy to put forth. Um, so I have some notes here on the side that I'm going to be looking at from the blog post that I wrote on this topic. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to attempt to fold some clothes because I have too much to do. And I'm going to try to focus on doing the video while I'm trying to fold these clothes. So we'll see if I can manage to do that. So before I dive in, welcome again to my channel. So on this channel, I post videos to uplift and motivate and encourage you on your stay-at-home mom journey, basically. If you're somebody who's kind of struggling a little bit, who maybe you're a little overwhelmed, I try to post videos to basically uplift you and to encourage you to keep going, giving you some tips and advice on things you can do to to encourage you. So that's kind of what I do here. That's the point and the purpose of this channel. So let's dive right into these tips that I have while I try to fold some clothes. What prompted me to do this video is sometimes I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, and after they fall asleep at the end of the night, here lately it's been taking me forever to get them down. My son he's difficult to put down sometimes. And so there are times I go down to the kitchen and I don't get started on getting things clean until after 10 o'clock, sometimes close to 11 o'clock. And I get down there and I look at all the mess from the day and I'm just like, I'm not doing this. Then there have been plenty of times where I don't. There have been times when I don't. But there are other times where I'm just like, I can't leave it like this. I can't wake up to this mess. I can't, because if I don't do this now, it's going to be a complete disaster in the morning. I'm going to be more stressed in the morning. So there are times when I have to push myself through no matter how tired I am, I have to do it anyway. So here are some things I basically tell myself in those moments to kind of help motivate me to keep going, because trust me, most of the time I just want to sit back down, watch a movie, and then go to sleep. So the first thing is, remember, it won't be like this forever. This is just a season. So when you're standing amidst the chaos and everything is just like, oh my gosh, this is too much, just keep reminding yourself, it's not going to be like this forever. Maybe your kids will get older. They'll be more self-sufficient. You'll have more time to get things done during the day. Maybe your nighttime routine isn't the greatest and your kids, like me, don't go down very easily. That won't be forever either. Eventually, they'll go to bed really easy and you'll be able to put them down at a decent hour so you can get things done at a decent hour and actually have time to sit down when you're done with everything. So just kind of reminding myself that this is a lot right now, but it's just for a season. These little babies aren't going to be this little forever. Eventually, I'm going to get a chance to get stuff done earlier. And so just push through right now. If you can just push through right now in this season, just keep it going right now. Just know there's light at the end of the tunnel. This isn't the rest of your life. You're not going to be staying up to 12 o'clock every night, 1 o'clock in the morning, some nights on really bad nights. I'm trying to get the house cleaned up forever. This is not forever. There is light and hope at the end of this tunnel. So just keep pushing through now and you'll get to that point. So just be encouraged that even though it's difficult now, you're exhausted and it's just overwhelming, just keep doing it, keep pushing, keep going. Because eventually it won't be like this. Keep your eyes on the end. Keep your eyes on the light at the end of that tunnel. Okay? So number 2. This is another thing I tell myself. Remember how good it feels to wake up to a clean house. And I'm mostly thinking about the kitchen because the kitchen is like a whole beast in itself. But remembering how it feels, how good it feels to wake up to a clean kitchen. And maybe for you, it's a clean living room or whatever, clean house. Maybe you clean the entire home. Just remember how good it feels. Remember how much easier your morning goes. Just remember how good it feels when you wake up and you come downstairs and the sink's not full of dirty dishes and you have everything you need and the table's not filthy and your kids actually can step on the floor without crunching on a bunch of leftover crumbs. Remember how good it feels? Remember how good it feels to wake up and be able to come into the kitchen and just be able to start cooking, instead of having to dig through dirty dishes to find what you need. And I think a lot of times that really motivates me, because when I'm ready to sit down and I'm just like, I'm not doing this today. then I remember, okay, if I don't do it now, this is what the morning is going to look like. Pure chaos. So just remembering, that's the second thing. Remember how good it feels to wake up to a clean house. And I would say number 3, remember how accomplished you feel when you push through and get it done. So for me, it feels so much better when I actually push through, even though I'm exhausted. I emotionally and mentally feel so much better when I go ahead and just do it anyway. Because even though I don't feel like it and I'm mad when I'm doing it, when I get done and I stand back and the sink is cleaned out and the counters, my table's clean and everything's off the floor and then I've mopped and I've swept or whatever it is that you do, it's just you have a sense of accomplishment. You go to sleep feeling kind of proud of yourself for pushing through. You feel good about yourself. And we need those moments, I think, as stay-at-home moms, because sometimes the tasks, just the to-do list keep building up and building up and building up. And it's not very often that we can feel like we're accomplishing anything, because as soon as you get something done, something else you have to get to, and then you got to come right back to that same thing. And so that gives you a sense of accomplishment at the end of the night when you can push through how tired you are, get it done anyway, stand back and look at what I accomplished today. Look what I did. We got through the day. It was a mess. I fed my kids. We played. I taught them. I loved on them. And now I've ended the day by cleaning it all up and wrapping it all up. And just going to bed with that sense of accomplishment can be enough to kind of push you and say, okay, I want to feel that again. I want to feel good about myself when I go to sleep tonight. Because honestly, even though I do allow myself to go to sleep and just do it in the morning when I really just don't have the energy, I don't always feel good about it. Like, you go to bed and you're like, I'm going to have to tackle this in the morning. And it doesn't feel great leaving the kitchen. Like, even though I give myself permission to do it if I'm really, really tired, it still doesn't feel great knowing that you left your kitchen a mess, knowing that you left your sink full of dishes, knowing that you're going to have to wake up to that chaos. So it feels so much better. So number 4, this kind of goes with the last couple, but so the first one, I know, just recap. Remember, this won't last forever. So see the light in the end of the tunnel. This season is just a season. This won't last forever. Number 2, remember how good it feels to wake up to a clean house. Number 3, remember how accomplished you feel when you push through and get it done. And number 4, again, going along with that, is remember how much smoother the next day goes when the home is tidy and tasks get done. So just remember when you wake up the next day, like I was saying, how much smoother things go. When you can find everything you need when you go to the kitchen to cook your breakfast, when you have everything you need in the bathroom, you got toilet paper on the rolls, your trash can's not overflowing, things just go smoother. Because when I don't do those things and I don't prepare, it just makes things a little bit more stressful. You can still get through the day, but things just start to get annoying because you are constantly digging for what you need. You got to dump the trash because you didn't dump it last night, just different little things. So just keep it in mind. If I go ahead and push through this right now, this is going to make tomorrow so much smoother. So this might be a little bit of a repeat on number 3, but that was what I have for number 4. Number 5, remember that your family deserves at least somewhat of a clean home. So just remember that you and your family, your kids, your husband, you guys deserve to be in a clean home. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you deserve not to have to eat off of a dirty table. Your kids deserve not to have to walk on a crumbly floor. Your kids deserve not to have to, wait 2 hours before they get breakfast. We need to keep that in mind, that like, even though I'm exhausted and I'm tired, my kids they shouldn't have to sit on a filthy toilet. You know what I'm saying? My husband shouldn't have to dig through dirty dishes in the morning to make his quick breakfast before he goes to work. Like, thinking about your family, like thinking about how this is going to be good for them if you go ahead and push through this, because you don't want your family and your kids to have to eat off of a dirty table, got old food sit all on the table and crumbs and sticky stuff. And my son will let me know, trust me, that when I don't do my job at night and I leave everything and we come downstairs and I'm trying to do it as I'm trying to feed the kids, and I'm cleaning and picking stuff up and doing all the stuff I was supposed to do last night while I'm feeding them, he will let me know. He'll come down, he'll be like, Mama, it's a mess. Mama, look. He'll let me know because he knows that usually I try to get all that stuff done. So he's used to coming down on most days and the table's cleared, it's clean, everything's good to go. So when I don't do it, he points it out. He doesn't like to do it. So, but your family deserves that. And so do you. You deserve to, to not have to walk on a filthy floor and all that. So that right there kind of motivates me. I don't want my kids to have to eat off this filthy table. I don't want my daughter to have to sit in this dirty high chair. I don't want my family to have to sit on dirty toilets. And, so when you're just tired and exhausted, think about your kids, think about your husband, think about your family, think about how you don't want them to have to. Laundry is an example. I'm so bad at laundry and I'm trying to get better. But the same thing, I hate it when, we can't find the things that we need. Skylar's out of underwear. Now I'm going to have to wash his underwear before we leave the house. Like, when you don't do what you're supposed to do, it ends up making things stressful later. So just remembering your family deserves clean clothes. They deserve to not have to wear the same underwear because there's no clean underwear. And so just keeping that in mind sometimes helps me to kind of push through it and say, I don't feel like doing this right now, but I want, my husband to have clean underwear because he has to go to work tomorrow. Or I don't feel like doing this right now, but I don't want my daughter to have to sit in this trifling high chair with all these germs. I'm just going to push through it. Okay, number 6. So remember, if you can do just one more thing, even if it's small, that's better than nothing. So if it's the end of the night, you finally got your kids down, or whenever you decide, maybe it's nap time, maybe it's in the morning when you get up early. For me, I try to get certain things, the kitchen mainly, done at the end of the night. So after I put the kids to sleep, and I want to go to sleep myself, and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm supposed to be folding clothes. And after I get everything, the kids down, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't feel like doing this. I'm going to sleep. And that's how I feel. And I just feel like I just can't do anything else. I just sometimes tell myself, if I could just do one thing, if I could just clear the table, then that's a success. And usually when I end up doing that, if I say, I'm just going to sweep, or I'm just going to do one load of dishes, or I'm just going to pick up the living room, I usually end up doing a few more things. And normally when I go ahead and push myself through one more thing, I just get it all done. Like, usually I get the important things done anyway. Because it's just like, if I'm going to wipe the table, I'm like, if I'm going to clear the table, I might as well sweep. Then I get done sweeping, I might as well throw a little laundry in. And you just kind of, getting started is usually the hardest part. Once you get rolling, you're like, I might as well just finish up the task. So usually if you can just push yourself through one thing, you'll keep going. And even if you don't keep going, doing one thing is better than nothing. Clearing the table is better than not clearing the table. You know what I mean? Doing one load of dishes is better than doing none. Sweeping the floor is better than, nothing. So something's always better than nothing. And then I would say number 7. So for number 7, when you go through all the other 6 things that you try to tell yourself or remind yourself to get yourself motivated to push through this, and you get done doing all that, you try to tell yourself, just push through, it'll be better in the morning, my family deserves to sit on a clean toilet, all the different things, and you go through that whole list. And even after telling yourself all that, you still you can't do it. You're still exhausted. My number 7 is extend grace to yourself and go to bed. And I know that's probably like bad advice, and I know it's probably countering what you've probably heard from other homemakers online, but I say this because there have been some nights where I've been so tired. I used to power lift. I powerlifted for almost a year, and there would be days my body would be so tired. I would call my coach and be like, I can't come in. I feel like I got hit by a truck. I need to rest. There are some nights where at the end of the long night, I feel so tired that my body's like screaming at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, or my eyes are just like, I'm so exhausted. I'm already going off of no sleep because last night I didn't really get much sleep. If you're in that season, and you're in that season where you have a newborn or you've got little bitty kids and they're waking you up several times a night, and you're already going off with barely any sleep, and you've pushed through the day already, and it's the end of the night, the kids are finally asleep, and you feel like if you push through and have to do one more thing, you're going to explode, you're going to burn out, you're going to burst into tears, like you just feel like you cannot do it anymore. I would say extend grace to yourself and just go ahead and sit down, because we don't want to reach the breaking point over some dishes. All of this stuff is important. We got to get this stuff done for our families. We're the homemakers. We're the ones who are managing all this. Yes, it's important to push through. It's important not to be lazy. It's important to motivate ourselves and do what we can to get ourselves to go and get up and get it done for our children, for our husbands, for our homes. But it is not worth breaking down, going into depression over a load of dishes. Don't let a load of dishes, a sink full of dishes, a crumbly floor with crumbs all on the floor, or unmade bed, or a kitchen, or a bathroom that might not be that needs some loving care. Don't let those things be what push you to the brink. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let those things be what burns you out and sends you into a state of depression. Because at the end of the day, these things are important, but it's just dishes. It's just a floor. And it's important to clean all that stuff, but if it's going to, and I guess that's my message at the end of this for number 7, is that extending grace to yourself. Because and this is a whole nother topic, but if you look up, as a blogger, I do keyword research to see what people are searching for and what they're needing right now in this season. Stay-at-home mom, depression, the volume on the search volume on that is higher than it should be. And I think this is a whole nother topic, and I'll make a whole nother video on it, but I think it's because we don't extend grace to ourselves. I think that we get overwhelmed. We see all the stuff that we're not getting done, all the things that we're not doing well, all the things we're not accomplishing, all the things that seem to be piling up. And we allow ourselves to go into this state of depression over a sink full of dishes. And that's a problem for me. All this stuff is important. We want to be good moms. We want to be good stewards of our home. We want to be good homemakers. We want to take care of our families. We want to do those things, of course. Always strive to be better, do better, to improve. But while you're trying to figure out a way to do these things better, you have to recognize the season that you're in. You have to listen to your body. Rest is so important, because if you're not rested, you're not going to be able to do all these things well anyway, and you're going to be too burnt out to be your best self for your family. So if you are in the season, and this is not an excuse, this is not me giving you permission or saying it's okay to be lazy or trying to give excuses. Like, I always say this, if you're lazy, when you have lazy days, when you have lazy moments. This isn't speaking to the mom who's lazy or those lazy moments that we sometimes have. I'm talking about, like, you're just tired. You're doing your absolute best and you're pushing yourself to the brink. And at the end of the night, you're just done. You know what I mean? And you recognize that there's some areas that you need to work on. You recognize there's some things you can do to improve. You've got to do better with laundry. You've got to do better with all these things. But here's my tip, I guess, at the end of this, is that while you're figuring out how to do better and how to be a better homemaker, while you're learning to be a better homemaker and be a better stay-at-home mom, and you're figuring all that out, how to implement better routines, how to have a better schedule, while you're figuring that out, we still have to rest. We aren't Energizer bunnies. We aren't superheroes. And so if after you've done all your due diligence to try to get yourself up off that couch to get it done, and you just can't, your body's like your back's hurting, or you're just exhausted, you're already going off after 3 hours of sleep, extend grace to yourself and go ahead and allow yourself to get some rest. It's okay. Yes, you're going to have to anticipate a little bit of chaos in the morning, and you should probably have a plan for that. And I could probably do another video on that if people are interested, but extend grace to yourself. Don't get me crying. I get emotional off of silly things. I'm getting emotional because I know what it feels like. And I know what it feels like to feel all this pressure that you have to do all this, because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have to do everything because I don't work, right? So I have to do it perfectly. I have to prove myself to somebody that I deserve to be home, that I deserve to be here, that me being here is purposeful. And so you're trying to overcompensate and do all this, but you still need to rest. People who work a 9 to 5, they get 45-minute breaks for their lunch, if not longer. They get vacation time, they get PTO, they get sick days. When you're a stay-at-home mom, you don't get to say, hey, I'm clocking out today, I'm taking a vacation day. Y'all got it. Hey, I'm taking a PTO. I'm sick today, I'm just going to stay I'm just not doing it. I'm not momming today. We don't get to do that. So we have to be a little bit more intentional about our breaks and how we ask for help and how we get those. And so if one of the only ways you can get a break because you maybe don't have a lot of help is to extend grace to yourself at the end of the night and go ahead and sit down instead of doing that load of dishes. If that sink full of dishes is going to break you down and make you go in the bathroom and cry because you just can't do one more thing, sit down. Sit down and rest. It'll be there tomorrow and you can do it tomorrow and you figure it out then. So, again, this is not to give anybody permission. And I was supposed to keep folding clothes and I've gotten like 2 things done, but it's very important that we rest. And so, yes, let's push through. We've got to push through. Let's motivate ourselves. I'm all about it. I'm all about figuring out ways to get things done. But we are human and we go through seasons like everybody else where we get tired and we need a break and we need a day and we need time. And if you are at that breaking point or you feel like you're about to get to that breaking point, please don't let that sink full of dishes take you to a breaking point. Take that break that you need. Remind yourself all the tips I gave you in this video. Tell yourself that when you're standing before the chaos and you're trying to push yourself to do it, go through the list of things that help you to get motivated. Whatever helps you, maybe it could even be more practical tips, like maybe giving yourself a podcast to listen to or some music to listen to while you're cleaning. Maybe that helps amp you up and you get going doing that. Whatever you can find, if these reminders aren't good enough, figure out what gets you moving, what gets you pumped. Maybe it's a cup of coffee at night, whatever it is. Do what you need to do. But if after you tried all of that and you just feel like, I just can't, you know what? You need to sit down then. And I will say this, if you're a Christian, because I'm a Christian, one of the other things I would have to add to that is leaning on Christ, because we aren't meant to do it all by ourselves. You know what I mean? We can lean on God. God wants to be intertwined into every little detail of our lives. So even if you think it's too silly, it doesn't matter. God cares. He's with you all the time. He cares about even the silly little things. I've had moments where I'm just like, I feel dumb going to God about this, but I'm going to go because he's my father. God, I'm too tired to do these dishes. Can you give me some strength? God, I can't do it. I'm about to pass out. I need some strength. I need you to help me out. I humbly ask you and respectfully ask you, can you please give me some strength? Because I am exhausted and I just can't. I can't get through this right now. And I've done that. You can do that. You're allowed to do that. He's your father. He literally wants to be a part of every part of your life. He wants us to lean into him because he wants to be that loving father. If you're a Christian, lean on God in those moments, because that really probably should have been the first thing, because he can give you the strength that you need. He can help you. But I think too, he will also sometimes tell you when you need to sit down. So, and even if you're not a Christian, lean on God. You can still lean on God. So, but that's the video, and I really do appreciate you clicking on this video and watching it to the end if you did watch it to the end. So like the video, subscribe to the video. The plan for this channel is really to uplift and to motivate and encourage you. If you're a stay-at-home mom who is just a little bit overwhelmed right now and just needs some encouragement to get through all the stay-at-home mom things. So I'm going to put a link below to the blog that I write that is a link to this YouTube channel, and I hope you check that out. And that's really it. So God bless, and thank you for watching.